Aho. So this video is a continuation of last message, but I really need to speak into it deeper because Spirit brought to my awareness something that is very important for us, especially intuitive empaths that feel and know everything that's happening, and for everybody really in general, because I mean we all are intuitive, just some are a little bit more than others, and so everybody's going to be feeling the energy, and just depending on how your thoughts or beliefs are about what you're feeling. For some it's you might refer to as your feelings about what's happening, but it all is the same thing. And so the last couple of days I've been feeling extremely exhausted, and I've been very low energy, no matter how much I try to catch up on sleep. How aware I am of what's going on, and my efforts to clear my space, be mindful of what I'm watching and how much time I spend on social media. I was noticing that I just was becoming more agitated, having anxiety, and the last couple of days I started really feeling with a sense of I mean, now that I understand what that feeling was, I guess I was feeling defeated and also disappointed in humanity. And I didn't really realize that it was getting to me that much, to where my feelings were starting to really be affected on how I was interacting with people. I mentioned one of the messages that I would go to the store, and it's a big task. It's a big challenge for me to go out and interact with people, because I just can't understand. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into that, but literally I would go into this thought process of, why is everybody still wearing these? I just don't understand how they don't see, and why they're still complying. And so I was going to into this spin out of judgment, and at the moment I'm not realizing that that's what I'm doing. I'm not in a place of compassion. I'm not in a place of understanding that they're having their own process. I'm not in my heart center, because I get triggered. And these messages have been about staying in your heart, having compassion. And these last couple of days I started realizing, what, I haven't been feeling that no more. I'm speaking it, but it's not in alignment with my thoughts, and I'm just really upset. And I shared with a friend of mine that I was feeling very angry at Creator for just how long this has been going on. And so that is part of the last message, was check in with yourself, see where you're at, work through things. And so I'm sharing this with you because even though I felt I was doing everything that I could, and I was conscious about working on myself and releasing feelings or energy, it was still weighing on me, and I wasn't completely releasing things, because we are going through a lot. I mean, everything that we are experiencing, we have been going through this for over a year now. It's a year and a half of the same repetitive stuff. And even though I have this awareness, and Spirit's been telling me, this is a spiritual battle, this is an attack on our mind, our spirit, I had this awareness, but yet over time it wears you down. And so I realized, wait a minute, you know, it's wearing me down. And so this is why no matter what I was doing, I couldn't catch up to bring myself to a place of feeling rested and energized. You know, I just feel like I've been fighting this fight for so long, and a big part of me has been feeling like it's all my words are being, you know, landing on deaf ears, and nobody's listening, you know. No, so I started going into that space of like, nobody's listening, nobody's listening, why is nobody? So I started going into that energy of desperation. And you know, that feeling of desperation is a feeling of fear in a sense. So the desperation and the fear, you know, I could say like they're related, you know, they're cousins, because wherever you're feeling, you know, that frustration, that means you're not in alignment with Source. And I caught that, you know, because I started really asking Creator, why am I feeling this way? Why is nothing changing? Why aren't people, you know, I need you to tell me that. And so instead of just having a conversation with Spirit, I started demanding, and I started being angry at Spirit. And I told my sister, you know, I told my soul sister, I feel I am really angry right now at Spirit, and you know, my prayers aren't being heard. You know, I feel like nobody's listening, and the time is running out. And so last night I really prayed about it, and I said, you know, Creator, please, you know, let me know, do I need to stop? Should I stop? You know, am I doing all this in vain? And you know, do I need to just pretty much leave people alone? And so, you know, I have to say, I really got immediate answers. You know, Spirit felt my heaviness, you know, is feeling my heart, and how difficult it has been for me to process this, and how much I've been fighting and trying to, you know, hold the light and continue to bring awareness, and feeling that there's so many that are judging and not caring and criticizing me, and how difficult it's been to feel like I'm standing alone, even though I know that I'm not. But when you're in your own space and you really don't have that many people in your surroundings, you do feel like you're fighting this fight alone. And so that's why for me, a lot of these messages, it's been very important for me to bring that we're not alone, and there's many. Because I know this, because Spirit is telling me this, but in this realm, I'm not seeing it. You know, I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing that, you know, when I go to the grocery store, everybody's still like this, or, you know, I'm not getting much response from people, so I don't know if they're even listening to these messages. And so, you know, I was at the point of just giving up in bringing these messages anymore, in sharing the truth, you know, bringing all, you know, that needs to be brought up to the light. You know, I was just like, you know, there's no point. And so when I asked Creator yesterday, you know, I sat in council, and I was pleading with my heart, you know, please tell me, like, what do I need to do here? I'm feeling very defeated right now. Creator immediately gave me answers this morning, and basically told me, you know, it's okay to rest. It's okay to, you know, take time off if you need to, which I know that has been part of the message in the past, but I saw it in a different light. You know, I felt it, I understood it in a way where he's basically telling us it's important that when we're feeling to the point where we're exhausting ourselves, to detach ourselves from the emotions that are being invested in these messages. If we're starting to feel that we are feeling angry or anything that is not in alignment, or we're pushing all this truth from a place of desperation, that we must step back and just reground, regroup, and really root ourselves in our faith till we feel it again. Not just us knowing it, till we feel it again. And so I was sitting under the tree in the yard. That is where I've been finding my peace. That is where I go and meditate. And I kid you not, as I'm sitting there and I'm sharing this with, One, as I'm telling him, sometimes I just feel like I want to give up. There's a little bird that comes and sits. It just flew and sat right over the wire of where we were at. And it's almost as if, letting me know, like, no, it was spirit that sent that little hummingbird. There's hummingbirds that fly, but the way it sat, and that wire is pretty low over our head. And I was like, oh my gosh, I knew that was spirit. But then I was like, okay, no, that's just me wanting it to be spirit. And no sooner than that little hummingbird came and sat and then took off, then I got a message from another intuitive, a friend who basically told me the very words that I asked Creator to tell me. Do I stop? Should I stop with these messages? And she told me not to stop these messages. She basically told me that the messages have been helping her, and for me not to stop these messages. I mean, like, that was very specific, answering my question to Creator. That was like very specific. Very next morning she messages me that message. And I'm telling you, I have not hardly had people messaging me. I mean, I really don't have anybody acknowledging or messaging me about the messages that I post. And for her to have done that at that very moment, I was just like, oh my gosh. So then of course I'm just like, that gave me a lot of peace in my heart, and that would have just been enough. But still, Creator came through even stronger. And at that very moment, there was a hawk that came straight down. I mean, I'm telling you, I was sitting down. Had I stood up, I probably could have touched that hawk. That's how low it came, directly towards me, and it went up towards the tree and just went past me. And that gave me that energy to keep going. And then, Spirit showed me myself, allowed me to see myself. But this is also not just myself, this is all of us who are doing this work. And I, want you to know that this has not been easy, and because this is a spiritual battle, we have endured many wounds. And of course, they're wounds that people will not be able to see because they're not on the surface. So I literally was shown myself, my spirit self, with many wounds. But those wounds turned into thick skin, like callous skin. And it wasn't to tell me that I'm wounded or that we're wounded. It was as a symbol to let us know that we are a different person now. We have shed our old skin and we have new thick skin now. And that when we started this to where we're at now, we're not the same person. We're not the same people. And we are stronger than when we started this. So even when we feel we're not, we are way stronger. And so those scars are our shields, our armor, our protection. And to walk in that protection, in the armor of God that I spoke about in the past, and to know that our spirit is protected, and that not to confuse it with us being a hard person in our heart, because that's not what it is. We don't build walls to protect ourselves. We have thick skin because we have shed a new whole self, a new whole person. We have been rebirthed. And so when you are feeling defeated or low energy or exhausted, as I was, when you are clouding your thoughts, just remember to take that step back. Disconnect from that energy, disconnect from those feelings. Take some breaths, allow yourself to be restored, and then continue. So the answer is yes, we must continue, but we must continue to do it from a place of that source energy. If we feel that we're doing it from a place anything else other than source energy, then we must stop, because that's the energy we're putting out. So that's where the awareness of where we're at, and if we're feeling anything negative, for us not to put that out there, because that's them wanting us to put that energy out there. And so it's only helping them. So even though our intention is to put awareness and positivity, if our energy or feelings are not in alignment with those posts, then we're actually putting out the negativity. So I hope this helps. The only other thing that I want to bring into your awareness is that Spirit is telling me there's a lot of posts that you're going to be seeing, mainly on YouTube videos. If you've been following other truthers, other channels that are bringing awareness, they're going to be bringing a lot of old information. So you might be noticing that there's a lot of old videos surfacing back up. So just be mindful of that, because part of it is they're the tricksters that I was talking about, and they're doing it with the purpose of bringing false hope. But then there's also, the good people bringing some of those back up, the old videos, because it's a diversion, and they want to throw people off on the timing, because when things happen, they don't want us knowing exactly the timing of it. So if you ever come across a video that says, oh, it's going to happen at this certain time or date, don't hold on to that, because that's a diversion. So again, be mindful. There's tricksters, there's energy that is trying to, pretty much make you look there and not here, or vice versa. So really, really, really pay attention to what feels right and what doesn't, and start making your circle smaller as far as who you trust in the next couple of months, and then expand your community as to who the people are that you can go to in case you need that help or that guidance in whatever way you need. Other than that, there was one other thing that I can't remember at the moment, but continue to spread the messages, continue to honor yourself, and remember to just keep praying, because that is what is truly getting us all through this. I hope.